final word of Rosie of what has been a monumental night. You were fantastic.
Listen, understand it was a big nostalgia hit. It got our attention. It was a big financial promotion for everybody, and it actually worked. Now, the fight was absolutely terrible, and it feels like Paul was holding back his punches. At times, Mike Tyson was holding back punches.
Is this rigged or not rigged? See how hard Mike punches? Everyone thinks that Mike is like toying with him, like Jake Paul is Mike's prison.
The boxing world has been thrown into turmoil after a leaked audio clip allegedly captured Jake Paul saying, "I got your money" to Mike Tyson during their recent fight. This statement, if authentic, has fueled claims that the event was scripted and designed more as a spectacle than a legitimate sport.
These guys went full out on each other, right? It would look bad on Jake Paul for knocking out a guy that's twice his age, right? And it would look bad on Mike Tyson if he got knocked out as well. It would tarnish his legacy. Not only that, if Mike Tyson hit Jake Paul and knocked him out, it would ruin the legacy that Paul wants to leave as he continues to fight. He didn't want to tarnish that, losing to a guy who's twice.
The controversy surrounding celebrity and exhibition boxing matches has reignited after a leaked audio clip from Jake Paul and Mike Tyson's fight went viral. In the clip, allegedly captured during a clinch, Jake Paul is heard saying, "I got your money." Critics argue this is evidence of rigged fights, with one ex-user, Konos, tweeting, "What more proof do we need?" These fights are scripted. The tweet resonated widely, sparking debates and trending under hashtag #ScriptedFight within hours. The uproar also highlights potential reputational risks for both fighters. Fans note that if Tyson, an iconic former heavyweight champion, were to be knocked out by Paul, it could tarnish his legacy. Conversely, if Tyson knocked out Paul, it could jeopardize Paul's aspirations of being taken seriously in the boxing world. For Paul, losing to someone twice his age would undermine the narrative he has worked to build. Observers also scrutinized the fight's pacing and lack of intensity, claiming these elements seem suspiciously staged. While some believe Paul's comment was a playful remark, others see it as clear evidence of prearranged outcomes. The debate has fueled skepticism about whether such matches prioritize genuine competition or mere entertainment. This incident has left fans and critics dissecting every detail of the leaked clip and questioning the authenticity of celebrity boxing as a legitimate sport.
Look back either way. So to answer your question, 100% this was fixed. They sat it out and talked about it. It went to decision because that was a neutral way to end it, and it went the full 8 rounds to keep people entertained. They didn't want it to end quickly. 100% it was fixed. It was smart on them. A big money.
Boxing purists and casual fans alike have voiced their disappointment over the recent Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson bout, with many branding it an elaborate payday that further diminishes the credibility of crossover fights. Critics, including seasoned boxing analysts, called the event a disgrace to the sport. If this audio is real, it confirms what many feared. These fights aren't about boxing. They are about money and spectacle, one analyst remarked. For many, it's seen as a betrayal of boxing's essence. On the other hand, Paul's supporters argue that his charisma and knack for generating buzz are revitalizing interest in the sport, albeit with a heavy dose of entertainment. At 58, Tyson couldn't match the energy of the 27-year-old Paul, who cruised to a decisive victory, earning a unanimous decision with scores of 80-72, 79-73, and 79-73. Even Tyson's coach, who initially believed in his chances, conceded defeat after witnessing the fight. Despite concerns about Tyson's ability to last the full 8 rounds, he made it through without injury, though the bout did little to silence skeptics. Held at the packed Dallas Cowboys Stadium in Arlington, Texas, the event drew 70,000 fans, with some paying up to $2 million for ringside seats. Figures from the combat sports world, including Dana White and Eddie Hearn, weighed in, with White voicing prior concerns for Tyson's well-being. Although the fighters walked away with massive paychecks, many remain unconvinced of the fight's authenticity, further fueling the debate over the legitimacy of celebrity boxing.
You know, Shannon, you're a Super Bowl champion. You know what I'm saying? We've been covering sports. I've been covering sports for 30 years. It's one thing for an exhibition here, there, whatever. But you can't continue to be allowed to build a career without getting into the ring with fighters. And if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, Shannon, I think the Mexican monster himself, David Benavidez, I might be wrong, but I think it was him. He said, I'll fight him. Now, this is a man that fights at 168, Molly. Jake Paul was in the ring at 228.
But
No, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying he was in the ring at 228, and you got a cat 60 pounds lighter than him saying, I'll fight you. You know why? Because what they're saying is, when you gonna fight real box?
The recent boxing match between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson has sparked widespread controversy, with allegations of match-fixing dominating headlines and dividing fans, critics, and boxing insiders. While the fight drew massive attention globally, with millions tuning in, many are questioning the legitimacy of the event and the motivations behind it. The controversy began when fans accused Jake Paul's girlfriend of knowing the fight's outcome beforehand, though she denied this in a post-fight interview. Adding fuel to the fire, Sarah Bailey, the reigning WBA women's lightweight champion and part of Lucas Bod's team, an undercard fighter that evening, claimed the match was fixed. Speaking to *ES News*, Bailey said, "I think Paul took it easy." Bod echoed her sentiments, fueling speculation. However, no concrete evidence supports these claims. Jake Paul addressed these rumors in a post-fight interview, admitting he held back during the fight. "I tried to give the best fight I could, but when someone's just surviving in the ring, it's hard to make it exciting. I didn't want to hurt someone who didn't need to be hurt," Paul explained. He noted Tyson's fatigue during later rounds, adding, "You could tell his age was showing. That violence or fire started to fade." Paul also revealed he had sustained a significant injury 2 weeks before the fight, which hampered his training. "I sprained my ankle, tore my anterior ligament, and snapped the other side of my foot. I missed about 2 weeks of sparring, and my cardio wasn't great," he shared. At 58, Mike Tyson showed flashes of his legendary past, particularly in the opening round, when he landed a powerful left hook that briefly trapped Paul against the ropes. However, Tyson didn't follow through, raising suspicions that the fight was choreographed. Despite this, Tyson stated post-match, "I came to fight. I didn't need to prove anything to anybody, just to myself." While Tyson showed resilience by completing all 8 rounds without injury, many felt the fight lacked intensity, with some spectators leaving the venue before the final decision was announced. Jake Paul won via unanimous decision, with judges scoring the match 80-72, 79-73, and 79-73. Paul bowed to Tyson in the 8th round as a gesture of respect, which Tyson acknowledged with a light glove tap. Despite the respectful exchange, discontent rippled through the crowd, with many accusing Paul of taking advantage of Tyson's age and limitations. Several prominent figures in boxing voiced their opinions on the bout. Former super middleweight champion Carl Froch called the fight staged and phony, pointing to the lackluster pre-fight shove as evidence of a choreographed spectacle. "It's a money spinner, and from that perspective, I admire it. But this wasn't real boxing," Froch argued. Tony Bellew, the former cruiserweight world champion, added to the criticism, accusing Paul of breaking an agreed-upon rule by wearing 10-ounce gloves instead of the 14-ounce